Hello everyone, my name is Jayan and today we are the 20th of May and this is the 70th video that I'm talking into a camera. So yesterday, as of a video update, I think the video quality gone worse because I was very caught up in my mind about sharing it to a friend for review. The feeling of being or the possibility of being judged really messes up my fluidity in my speech and how I sounded like in the video. I become a lot more hesitant. I was not confident in my speech at all after my first phrase. However, I did improve a little bit on my first phrase that I will get to myself. However, it was really not good when I was answering it. I feel very nervous. I feel to looking at too many things at the same time, and I think today I want to focus on narrowing down things just to discuss very specific pros and cons while taking consideration of every parties involved. I will also try to focus a little bit on the fluidity of my speech, trying to put a little bit of accent on the important stuff and try not to stop too much times. Second of all, I want to do a little share of my personal life. Today I think I made the most amount of money in a single hour because of a very strange situation. What has happened is that there were a client booked with another trainer and the receptionist did not advise that trainer at all. So what happened was that the client came to the clinic and waited for 40 minutes because our trainer was booked already with a client already. So what happened was when I arrived after 5 minutes, our coordinator came to talk with me and asked me to take care of the client. So the client waited 40 minutes to wait for someone who just arrived for their shift. But however, the session went pretty well. I was very quick on my thinking on the flight, and we pulled out the program in about 10 minutes. And after this, we were in a very progressive and very good, excellent conversation about training. It seems like they had a very good base of training, and every single movement was good, with the exception of some very little details that for me I want to be really perfectionist on. So I kind of get double paid for both my clinic hours and the private training hours, and I think this month we will break the record for the most trainings that we will be doing, which is very exciting because it is a solid pay, but I will be hella taxed, so that's also the downside. Furthermore, I want to do my little Casper practice, so this time let's try to focus on giving some accents on the specific spots that I want to make my point across, and still being very confident in my first line of speech. The scenario for today is that I'm in the middle of completing a chemistry SAC. I believe that's an exam. Let's call it a chemistry exam at your school, and notice your best friend Samuel using chemistry notes from his pockets. You are positive that Samuel is cheating, which is against the school's policy. The exam finishes and you both exit the center. Samuel and you discuss how you both found the chemistry SAC in terms of question difficulties and the timing of the SAC. Okay, so I'll have 30 seconds to reflect on everything, and after that I will answer the questions. So 30 seconds starts now. Alright, so now we're going into the minute S question answering mode. So first question, would you report Samuel for cheating? Okay, so 1 minute starts now. In the moment when discussing with Samuel in the hallway, just exiting out of the exam, I don't think I will say too much with respect to cheating. However, I will ask him to come with me into a private room to discuss and explain what I have observed. I will very clearly point out I have seen him with some chemistry notes during the exam, and it is a breach of academic integrity. It will affect the fairness of the test to other students taking the test, and therefore it is something that we does not wish to do. Therefore, I will ask Samuel to report himself to the Dean of Academic Integrity or the Dean of Chemistry. Only if he does not, I will report him myself. Second question, why do you think Samuel may have cheated in the first place, and what are your thoughts on cheating? I think there can be many reasons for someone to cheat. First of all, I think the exam difficulty can be a lot higher than what Samuel's thought. Therefore, as of a coping mechanism or a solution, it pushes Samuel to do something such as cheating in order to pass the exam. It can also be emotions, such as fear, so his fear that he might fail the test and the impact on his future, or things like relationships with her parents, maybe he's disappointing his parents, and that can maybe push him to cheating. And I think cheating is something that every student should avoid because it is a breach of academic integrity, which is unfair for other students, and also on a larger scale, it can be an honest act to pass the exams while not having the required knowledge that you might need in a future profession. Question 3. The student tells you that he thought that the chemistry SAC was open book. Does this change how you approach the situation? In this situation, yes, it will change my perception of the situation. So instead of asking him to report himself and explaining why, I will try to investigate on whether the SAC is truly open book or not. I think this will shape my action in the future. If I have found out from a credible source, such as my teacher, that the exam is indeed open book, then I don't think there is no need to report, my friend, because it is allowed in an open book exam to have our own notes. However, if I found out from my teacher that it is a lie, then I think it is another act of dishonesty, and I will definitely try to report or signal this case and remain the same way on the same route. Give an example of a time where you had to make a stressful decision. Oh shit. When I was 16 years old, I started working at my very first job. And I recall one night I was working at the front desk of a restaurant. And usually at night there isn't too much clients. We are two in the kitchen, so me and one other colleague, and usually it should satisfy the demand. However, I think there was an event going on and everybody's flooded in at the same time. and it created a very stressful situation for me to manage all the orders, make sure that every client is seen in time and everything. And I have to make a decision to whether call in another colleague late at night and ask for extra help. From this situation, I really think that one thing that I learned is that we have, despite the stress, we have to do one things at a time and prioritize what is important. Oh, question 5. What did you learn from making this stressful decision? The first thing that I've learned in this situation is that we really have to remain calm despite the situation is very stressful and can be mentally tasking. We should not be breaking into panics. This will just worsen the situation and freezes everything in place. Instead, what I've learned is to do everything in an orderly manner. Try to prioritize those are the most important. So in this case, the customers that came first, and then do just one order at a time. I also learned that there can be recovery methods after making those kind of decisions, such as asking for other helps, and also to apologize to the clients that have waited for a long time, and also offer them maybe a free dessert, a free drink, so that everybody can be really satisfied. So those are the two things that I have learned from this decision. Alright, so I think I did pretty well. I think I was hesitating here and there, but I was trying my best to put accents on everything. Alright, so that will be the video for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.